Often this is how we appear in our lives. We clutch onto something that seems cool, great, and comfortable. We become deeply attached to it. However, what God has in store for us is infinitely larger and greater. Yet, for us to receive the new blessings, we must be willing to let go of what we're holding on to so tightly. We must release our grip on what we're accustomed to make room for what God has prepared for us. One thing about God is that He may tell us about the promise, but He doesn't always reveal it to us immediately. This can be frustrating for many of us who prefer to see things before believing them. However, as believers, we are called to live by faith, not by sight. So Jordan finds himself unable to see the promise ahead. He's called to trust the promise giver and take a leap of faith, just as we all do in our own lives when we're striving to reach new heights. To move forward, Jordan must make that faith-infused step, a step that demands he let go of Paco, whom he's cherished for so long. Jordan, it's time to set him down. I know it's incredibly tough for you, but this is necessary. This waiting period, reminiscent of the Israelites' journey after their deliverance from slavery, is often the most challenging phase. We tend to believe that the moment we release something, God will immediately replace it with something better. However, that's not always the case. God wants to ensure that our hearts are ready, strong enough, imbued with the necessary humility and character to embrace the greater blessings He has in store for us. Many of us cling to our past, convinced that it defines the extent of God's plans for us. Yet God has grander designs specifically tailored for each of us. Some of you may be holding onto a vision of a spouse, not realizing that God has someone even more extraordinary in mind. So the question becomes, what am I willing to let go of in my life to receive God's boundless blessings? Or rather, do I trust Him enough to surrender the familiar comforts of my life for the yet-to-be-revealed wonders of His blessings? Following God's calling necessitates surrendering the good for the better, relinquishing the known for the mysterious, all for a purpose that extends far beyond our immediate understanding. God often calls us to exchange what is merely good for what is truly better, and this is a perpetual struggle we face. However, it's vital to remember that God's goodness always aligns with His purpose. As we clear out space in our lives, we create room to receive His abundant blessings. What are you still clinging on to? What is it that you're reluctant to release? It's essential to make room for the good things you desire. Perhaps there are countless individuals yearning for meaningful connections, yet they're held back by lingering attachments to past relationships. Even if that person is no longer present, the idea of them can still occupy valuable space in our hearts and lives. To manifest the good we desire, we must intentionally create space for it. Without this deliberate action, we risk perpetually clinging to what was, preventing us from embracing what could be. If we fail to create this space, we may never experience the fulfilling relationships or blessings that await us. In our lives, there are often relationships, mindsets, or past experiences that, if we hold on to them, can hinder our growth and impede God's plans for us. These attachments have the potential to stunt our progress and prevent us from stepping into the abundant blessings that God intends for us. We all encounter disappointments and injustices in life. It's natural to want to hold onto the hurt, replaying the offenses in our minds, and allowing them to consume our thoughts. However, this only serves to weigh us down, souring our attitudes, draining our energy, and stifling our creativity. To fulfill our destinies, we must become adept at letting go. How we choose to deal with these offenses and hurts will dictate whether we can move forward and embrace the new opportunities that God has in store for us, or if we remain stuck in bitterness and resentment over what didn't work out. Living in the past is tempting, but it ultimately holds us back from experiencing the fullness of life that God has planned for us. It's essential to release these burdens and trust that God has something greater awaiting us in the future. When your future seems uncertain and the promise God has for you isn't yet tangible, it's tempting to dwell in the past. It's natural to cling to what was, especially when the path forward isn't clear. But dwelling on the past won't change anything. What's done is done. Some of you may have experienced divorces or bankruptcies. These events are part of your past, and while they may have been challenging, they don't define your future. Instead of fixating on what's gone, focus on what lies ahead. Embrace the uncertainty with faith, knowing that God has a plan for you, even if you can't see it yet. Trust that your future holds promise and possibilities beyond what you can imagine. Some of you have faced difficult challenges in the past, but dwelling on what's already happened serves no purpose. The past is beyond our control, and focusing on it only wastes the precious time we have in the present moment. Time moves forward relentlessly, and all we truly possess is the here and now. By fixating on the past, we inadvertently ensure that our future mirrors those same patterns. We must let go of the past, regardless of how painful or justified our feelings may seem. Holding on to resentments is futile. It only perpetuates a cycle of negativity. Instead of looking back in anger or dwelling on past mistakes, we should shift our focus to the present moment and the possibilities it holds. Ray Stanford once likened holding on to resentment to throwing dust into a strong wind. Ultimately, it achieves nothing but scattering more negativity. Let's break free from this cycle. Instead of dwelling on what's behind us or worrying about what lies ahead, let's embrace the present moment with awareness and openness. Let's move forward with courage and clarity, leaving behind the burdens of the past and stepping confidently into the future. Life can be viewed as a continuous cycle of endings and beginnings. If we focus on the past, it's a series of endings. But if we look ahead, we see a series of beginnings, each holding the promise of something great. It's crucial not to let our longing for what was prevent us from preparing for what's next. When grapes undergo crushing, they understand that they will never be grapes again, but they will transform into something even more valuable: wine. Similarly, we must recognize that letting go of the past is necessary for growth and transformation. At times, it may seem like God is silent or unaware of our struggles. We may even question if He cares about our future. However, the truth is that God is always at work, orchestrating something new and remarkable. As Isaiah 43:18-19 reminds us, God declares, "Forget all that. I am about to do something new. See, I have already begun. Do you not see it?" We all have a past that we must release as we move forward. Perhaps for some, it's a past relationship that lingers uncomfortably in the present. Despite knowing that it was unhealthy, the uncertainty of the present may make it difficult to fully let go. Yet it's essential to trust in the promise of something new and embrace the discomfort of the present as a necessary step towards growth and renewal. As Friday night rolls around, the absence of text messages can make loneliness creep in. Looking back, the past might seem more appealing, perhaps due to a particular mindset or perspective. Maybe God led you away from a certain mindset, but now you find yourself slipping back into old patterns. Perhaps you physically moved away from a city, only to find yourself feeling uncomfortable, uncertain, and lonely in your new surroundings. Work feels different, friendships aren't as strong, and it's easy to think that the grass was greener in the past. But clinging to the past only holds you back. True freedom comes when you learn to let things go. It might not have been fair, but it's important to trust that God will be your vindicator. It's not your responsibility to seek revenge or pay back those who wronged you. Holding on to past hurts only allows them to continue to hurt you. Remember, God saw what happened. He heard the hurtful words spoken against you, and He understands the losses you've experienced. Trust in His justice and His ability to bring healing and restoration to your life. Letting go of the past allows you to move forward with hope and freedom. If you're willing to release it, God promises to make it up to you. He'll exchange your ashes for beauty. I believe that for some of you, you're standing right at the threshold of your promise. You're incredibly close to stepping into the new levels that God has prepared for you. And all it takes is one act of faith to unlock it. Tonight, there's one specific area that God is urging you to let go of. It could be a relationship, a mindset, or a past mistake that you're clinging on to. Whatever it is, it's acting as a barrier between you and what is so close to being yours. It may not have been right what they did to you, but forgiveness is the key to your freedom. Holding on to grudges only contaminates your inner peace. So let it go. Forgive the person who hurt you. Forgive the parent who may not have given you what you needed. Release the disappointments and the hurts of the past. By doing so, you open yourself up to receive the blessings and breakthroughs that God has in store for you. The dream that didn't come to fruition. Let go of the burden of guilt, shame, regret, and remorse. You can't reach your full potential while carrying that heavy load. It's crucial to release this toxic waste from within you. Give it to God. Say, God, I forgive them for what they did. I release the hurts, the losses, and the unfulfilled desires to you. I trust you to make it up to me. While you may not know what tomorrow holds, find solace in knowing who holds it. Though you may not see the promise, you can trust the promise giver. What lies behind you pales in comparison to what lies ahead. Car manufacturers understand this concept well. The rearview mirror is small, while the windshield is vast. This design emphasizes that what's in front of you is far more significant than what's behind. As a believer, understand that clinging to past mistakes or desires can prevent you from receiving everything God has in store for you. God is urging you to let go. Whatever it is you're holding on to, whether it's a mindset, habit, or lingering relationship, understand that what awaits you in the future is incomparably greater. God is waiting for you to release it so that you can step into the abundant blessings He has prepared for you.